A lot of things are embarrassing today.
I mean, we have to. I'm not going to lie. We got hella tweets this morning. Like, I know this is some shit that y'all not going to care about. But as the morning moved forward, I was like, there's a lot of underlying things for us to dig into as aunties. And as mature women.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
So y'all know we're about to talk about DaniLeigh and DaBaby. Basically, it started last night. She went on live where the cops had been called by DaBaby, pretty much to kick her out at about 3 a.m. with their 3-month-old. And God, it has spiraled from there. DaBaby has released his statements. Dani has released more of her statements. The baby's baby mama, Mimi, did got into the mix. And I don't know, where did you kind of want to start with this? Because it's definitely, there's a lot to unfold, and I want to make sure we hit all the points that we were talking about.
I want to take a nap.
Right.
I want to take a nap because a lot of this is exhausting. And honestly, it's the bottom line with all of this shit is why are y'all on the fucking internet?
That part. We start oversharing. Over fucking sharing.
But it's beyond the overshare. Now it's to embarrass, now it's to humiliate, now it's to defame, now it's to, and I just, at this point, it's like when do we grow up? When do we grow up? When do we decide that, part of being a good parent is not embarrassing yourselves or your children on the internet?
That part.
Like, now that there's children, now that there's babies and children involved, right? Like, we're watching adult people literally prioritize their drama over their children, and I'm baffled by it, to be honest. And I'm not a parent, but I'm also aware and have friends that are parents, close friends that are parents. I'm a godparent, so I understand the importance of prioritizing the well-being, the safety, the care, the energy of a baby, of a kid. And I just feel like there's a lot of activity going on with these adults that is not good for the children.
Yeah, one of the most recent videos that was posted, he got on live and she was still at the house, and he pretty much to her face was calling her a side chick and was like, "Yo, I was never with you. You were never my girl. You were always a side chick." And you hear her in the background like, "Oh, word, I was a side chick, but I met your family. Word, I was a side chick, but I was in your house. Word, I was a side chick, but XYZ elemental P." And it's just like, so then she goes on a rant and goes to her Instagram and starts posting this timeline of videos and photos of him. And here we go to this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, get your pens and papers out, please. We are about to let you know what a side chick is and what actions do not make your relationship any more than what you may think it is. And we can start off by motherfucking meeting the folks, meeting the friends. Being around someone else's family or friends does not certify your relationship to be any more than what you think it means.
That's true.
For one. She also mentioned they took trips together. Bitch, I'd been flued out by hella married niggas. That don't mean I was with that nigga. I was with that nigga for the weekend, but like a trip doesn't mean anything. And what's crazy is we didn't get to this point of the conversation with Academics and Brittany Renner last week,
right?
But there was a conversation regarding what a side chick is.
Right.
And it pretty much was not being claimed.
Right.
Is what it was. Now, I want to ask you now, because I think in this era of social media, the word claimed, to me, a lot of women feel like, well, he put me on his story. He posted me on the gram. That solidifies our relationship, because DaBaby definitely acknowledged her.
Yeah.
Publicly.
They were everywhere together for about a year.
So do you believe her or him?
I don't think it matters. I think the overarching issue with all of this is that whether or not he showed up for you in a moment, there has to be a consistency. Like, y'all don't know who these people are. Y'all having babies, y'all moving in, y'all changing your jobs, changing your cities, changing your like y'all doing all of this stuff to be in a relationship with somebody you don't really know. Like DaniLeigh was saying, she sold her house. Girl,
Yeah, and is now living in his house where he was about to kick her out.
And also, I'll bring it back to a point. And you and I have conflicting opinions and conflicting ideas around the institute of marriage, right? A lot of y'all have it backwards and fucked up about marriage. Having a baby with somebody is a permanent fucking commitment, and maybe not for the men, obviously, because it doesn't hit the same when a woman is pregnant and a woman is carrying a baby for 9 months and has the baby, and there's that emotional connection, and then also the nurturing and the mothering that comes with is not usually full-time, more full-time than the father if they're not in a relationship. So it's not even really a commitment, but you're tied to that woman forever.
That's what I was gonna say. I did agree with you. I mean, of course, my idea of what marriage is one thing, but a lot of men don't go into marriage not only because of the commitment, but because of the financial ties, which is unfortunate.
But
because
you're paying child support.
I was about to say the same thing happens with having a child.
I think the reason I emphasize the marriage point so much is because very rarely do you see a man that will show up for a woman and commit to a woman in that capacity not be a good father. It's almost never the other way around. Like, you can be a good father and be a shit partner.
Yeah.
You can be a good father and be an absolutely horrible person in a relationship. You could be a narcissist. You could be completely selfish and emotionally negligent, emotionally unavailable and immature, but still manage to show up to some capacity for your kid. Whereas if you are dealing with a man who decides that marriage and a partnership and that type of foundation is the priority and is the important thing to commit to, if a child comes into that environment, if both parties want that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If they want to build their family that way, it's pretty unlikely that person's not going to keep showing up as a dad, or even if he changes his mind about the relationship.
Right.
I just think my emphasis on the commitment to a woman is because a lot of us as women settle for being loved and never chosen. And sometimes there's more to be said about...
Wait, say that again?
Sometimes women settle for being loved and never chosen.
Oh,
like you
talk your shit, Bridget. Let's go.
You tie yourself, you tether yourself to and anchor yourself to a fleeting emotion and not to any level of foundation that looks like anything solid.
Right. I mean, he wasn't there for you during your pregnancy, and then you have the baby and you choose to move in and live with him for the first 3 months, and now he's kicking you out 3 months into being a mother. There was never stability.
Even bigger than that, going back and forth with another, and we said this about the summer situation, going back and forth with another woman that has a baby with this man that you're with. Y'all all look crazy as adults.
Dumb as fuck.
Y'all all look crazy, and there's kids involved, right? So,
dumb. You are really dumb, for real.
And in my mind, I think the part that again I go back to is where are the older women in these spaces? Where's Danny? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I said that even when she was going through all the stuff she went through last year around the music and that stupid ass Yellowbone song. Like, where was her team? Now I'm really looking like, yo, where? Thank God for my girlfriends, because I got a lot of women and men too that care about me and that are friends that became family, chosen family, that would call me in my moments of wilding out and be like, nah, this ain't it, sis. Get the fuck off the internet. What are you doing? Hey, what do you need? Let me show up for you. Let me pull up. We keep seeking this validation and this support on the internet with people we don't know, because the people that we think we know, we don't really know either.
But we talked about this on Patreon, and I think it still goes back to not many of us grew up with seeing a healthy family or a healthy relationship. And a lot of the times our mothers are living through us and they want us to. So if we can get a rich rapper or land someone where, okay, well, you're better off than where I was with your father. Like, she could also be getting pushed to be with this man.
She was a rising star already. She had a #1 record.
Yeah.
She already had her own career and money and tour and everything else. Like, she didn't need to be baby mama number whatever. Like,
yeah, I don't even know what number it is, but also,
but you understand what I'm saying? Like, this, it's no
none.
shade to the other women that have children with him, but this was a girl that was already, or whose career was already established, and she was already doing her own thing. So for this to have derailed her and sidelined her in such a way that we're now watching her emotionally unravel on the internet. The same way we did with Summer is devastating to me. And I hate that the women, especially women in our industry who respond, are responding on Twitter and Instagram. No.
Yeah.
Get that girl's number. Call her. Show up for her in real time and in real life, because this social media shit ain't real. It's not real life. It's not real life. It's
just hard, because if I even look at the other women in the industry, I mean, you have Lala that went through her cheating debacle with Mello. You have Halle Berry, who's beautiful, but who's been cheating on with all of her relationships. We see what Will and Jada are going through with their relationship. So I just say, if you think about it, who do they have to reach out to? I'll be honest with you. I'm one of those where I would never take relationship advice from some of my friends, because baby, you don't seem to be doing very well in your own situation. I don't want to take advice from that. And so if I'm looking at all of maybe these other celebrity women as well, or say she grew up in a single parent household, who do you reach out to? We all have sat here, or at least the women in my life, the friends in my life, and have been through some shitty ass relationships and either stayed, didn't know how to get out, had a baby by one. I just had this conversation with a homegirl.
So maybe y'all should stop buying fucking jewelry and matching Cartier bracelets and go get a therapist.
Yeah. That part too.
Spend money on that instead. The part that this is all just very upsetting to me, because I'm tired of watching women go back and forth also with each other.
It's embarrassing.
Over these men that really don't give a fuck. And by the way, just because you financially provide and you are present for these children, how you speak to these women who are their mothers, how you handle them, speaks way more to your character than being a good dad. How you handle your baby mamas says more about you than how you show up for your kids, because part of showing up for your kids is having respect for the women that push them out.
That part. I was actually going to say too, just based off of even my own experience, money, child support, the name brand gifts, when your child gets older, they realize that that's all you were there for. Like I told you, I have a real weird relationship with men, because my dad was an ATM. Literally, my dad growing up never had any really deep conversations with me about men, about sex, about relationships.
Right.
I saw him have multiple girlfriends my whole upbringing.
Right.
And then he would just throw in my mom's face the money he would be able to spend on us.
Yeah.
But so to me, even the idea of financially showing up, I know we see DaBaby post his kids in Gucci outfits and shit like that. Money does not make you a good father either. Paying your child support on time does not make you a good father either. And I know y'all talk about these celebrities that are fucking paying out the wazoo money for child support. A lot of y'all niggas is giving your baby mothers $200 a week. It's barely covering fucking daycare. She also has to pay for clothes, for food. Now, because there's a child, she can't just go and get a studio or a 1-bedroom apartment. She has to start it 2 bedrooms, which costs more money. So for anybody listening, and I don't want to say the regular niggas, but in real life, the majority of men aren't paying more than $1,500 a month for child support. Come on.
And that's also because a lot of women are doing y'all a favor by not taking y'all stupid asses to court.
That part.
But that's a conversation for another day.
That part. And when they do take you to court, just know it's not even on some malicious shit.
Right.
You probably aren't showing up without getting the court involved. And that's a whole other conversation. I had a conversation with that recently on my other podcast. And he felt as though, as a black man, he was being put into the system by being put on child support. And he took it to heart that way. And I was like, the idea that a lot of these men just even want their baby mamas hanging, now I got to come and beg you. Sometimes the baby moms, when they see that you're not willing to show up financially as a father or as a partner, let me go ahead and cut all ties and just send the check in the mail. We ain't even got to talk. Take the kid on the weekends when you need them. But a lot of the court things, I think a lot of men see getting them involved with child support in the court as a malicious thing, when in reality, it's really nah, we just gonna make this easier on all of us.
And sometimes, and to be fair, sometimes it is malicious.
I mean, yes.
Sometimes it is.
Two things can be true. But
I don't know. My whole point goes back to, ladies, if you want to be a mother, then that is 100% your choice and your prerogative. But please, be more mindful about who you are deciding to have a child with. Because it will affect that child affect, like the impact on a kid when there's turbulence between the parents is not discovered until they're an adult and they're fucking up in adult life or in their adolescence, because it was a trickle down effect from shit that they saw with their parents. You know what I mean? And the older we get, the more we realize like how much we don't want to be like our parents, how much we don't want to be, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to be carbon copies, but a lot of that stems from the trauma that we were privy to, or the trauma that we witnessed that our parents went through.
But there's help now. With what happened with the situation, Danny explains that he got really upset because she ordered Plan B to the apartment, and she wrote in one of her captions that he's still just been busting up in her. And that's crazy to find out, because we also found out this morning that the first baby mama is currently pregnant now. And so it's just like, at what point are you going to be held accountable? You letting this man bust in you. It still takes two, sis. It still takes two. And just because a man wants to fuck you raw doesn't mean he wants you to have his baby again. Doesn't mean he wants to be with you. He's out there.
I want to go back to the side chick conversation.
Yes.
Because I think that if nothing else, right? If nothing else, this situation is an example of the fact that a lot of men don't see any value in women or keeping women around or taking care of women unless they have a baby with them.
Okay, talk it.
And I feel like, you know, what we discuss a lot of times about relationships, right? This goes back to speaking to the same women who would call someone like a Russell Wilson lame and corny. And, well, you're not looking to get married and have children, but there are women who look at us, who look at a man like a Russell Wilson who shows up for Sierra in every capacity,
for sure,
and call him lame, and
then go and let the baby, and then go
bust him up, and then have a baby with somebody that doesn't give a fuck,
right,
one way or the other,
right,
who would literally, while their baby is in the same space, call you a side chick and all this other kind of shit on the internet for millions of people to see. So I think we have to start having real conversations as women with each other about what foundations really look like, because a lot of women out here bringing babies into the world, they have no business doing it with these men. No business.
Yep.
It's upsetting. It's really upsetting.
And I mean, we've said it too. Believe someone in who they are when they show you. I think the same thing. London was him,
but also
Summer.
it takes time, right? We're watching these things unfold and transpire in like a year's time. You don't really know somebody that well in a first year, right, especially in entertainment. I'm telling you this firsthand, being someone in entertainment. I know how difficult it is to prioritize quality time, to get into a habit and a routine. It's a lot easier if you're a math teacher and you're dating a fireman.
Bitch, it's a lot easier during COVID.